Hey, happy Monday. Man, it's great to be here. First off, I want to say I apologize for if my voice sounds kind of weird. I just finished last night the last day of an event, a really powerful event called Unleash the Power Within. It's a Tony Robbins event. It's really awesome. I highly recommend it. But I had so many breakthroughs. I got so many amazing insights. It was awesome. At one point I was I was taking notes so fast. I'm just scribbling these notes and I'm going through my journal, just like getting as much information down as I possibly can. And so that I go back and read them later and I can barely read the notes. So that's how good it was. That's how you know if an event is good, is if you're writing notes so quick that you can't, you can't read them later, right? But my wife and I reattended the event together. It was transformative. It was really amazing. There were so many amazing speakers and stories. Um, I always love it when people try and teach with a story, because that really connects. We so often we just try and absorb information in and it's too organized. Does that make sense? So like you have these lists of information, or you're just giving people random information, or at least that's how our brain perceives the information when it's not organized into a story. So the stories were amazing. It was an amazing event. But I'm not really here to talk about Unleash the Power Within, even though it was really awesome and I highly recommend it. But what I really want to talk about today was the power of immersion itself, because especially in our world that we live in today, with all of the distractions and all of the things trying to take our attention, I believe that it's really important to have immersion. In fact, that's one of the things that Tony Robbins talks about as one of the three keys to mastering anything is immersion, is really getting yourself in a situation, in a in an area, in an event that really helps you absorb information quickly. I'll give you an example. So like if you wanted to learn Spanish, right? Just for example, and you took lessons or you learned in high school, how many of us took a language class in high school, right? Or Spanish or whatever, French. And how many of us can remember any of that today, right? The reason is because we didn't have practice, we didn't have that immersion. So if you decided that you really wanted to learn Spanish, the best possible way you could do that is to basically just go to Mexico and live there for a month, right? I mean, you're going to learn Spanish because you're immersed in it. You're going to be hearing it. You're going to eventually going to start picking things up because your survival basically depends on that. So immersion is so powerful because your all of your senses start to pick up this information and it starts to become part of you in that environment. So the power of immersion is huge. That I'm gonna read the definition of immersion to you. So the immersion in this context, there's a couple of different meanings. Obviously, it can be immersed in water, but in this particular case, it means deep mental involvement in something, typically to the exclusion of other activities. Or another way is a deep, focused involvement in a particular activity or subject, often leading to enhanced understanding and quicker skill acquisition. So it makes it to where you can learn things that normally would take you weeks, months, years to learn. You can a lot of times you can condense it into just a couple of days. And so that's why immersion is so powerful. It's one of the ways that you can go quicker, you can go further quicker. Especially in this age of AI and all of this new technology that's making it very competitive. if you think that we're not in a competitive world, if you think it's making it easier, I mean, I'm sorry, but you're fooling yourself. It's making it more competitive. But we can keep up. We just have to be able to adapt just as quickly or quicker. So immersion is one of the ways that you can really, really take advantage of that, and you can learn and get further quicker. It also helps you really learn on a deeper level. When me and my wife were at the event this weekend, it made it to where we understood concepts on a deeper level, especially because the things they were talking about the first day were really amazing and really insightful, really transformative, and we're taking notes. But the crazy thing is, excuse me, I told you my voice was crazy. I play full out at these events, so you have to bear with me. Um, but one of the crazy things was that we would take notes at the beginning, on the first day, and it was amazing. And then by like the third day, one of the things that we learned from the first day just like clicked because it compounds on itself. The information compounds on itself, but you're in this environment where you're really striving to learn. And if you play full out, if you do the exercises, if you do the activities and you really engage, there in the event we did, there was breakout rooms, and a lot of people will. It was in a virtual event, but there was breakout rooms where you would actually go and interact with other people instead of just sitting there, passively. And it makes it to where you really internalize the knowledge. You get a deeper understanding of what you're actually learning because then you're applying it and you're discussing it with other people. And I think that was one of the most powerful parts of the event is that, we're learning this now, but now let's go. Now you have to actually explain it to someone. They say that if you learn something, you kind of know it. If you understand it, then you can use it. But if you really want to know it on a really deep level, you have to teach it to someone else, or you have to tell it to someone else. So when you actually have to articulate what you learned, it really ingrains it a lot deeper, and it compounds on itself. It helps you understand it on a deeper level. And it builds everything. Another way that it builds and you can take advantage of that is that as it builds, it gives you this momentum and this drive to actually go take action. Because here's the thing, you know, people say that, what's that old saying, right? Knowledge is power. We always hear that, right? Knowledge is power. But it's actually not true. Knowledge without action is basically worthless. Knowledge is potential power, but knowledge, when coupled with action, when used in a productive way, that is power. You can get all of the knowledge in the world, but it doesn't do you any good if you don't actually do something with it. So, and then the other thing is it promotes, it really, really gets you in a space where it pushes you to grow quick. Um, excuse me, let me get a glass of water here. But it really gets you to where you're compounding the growth. And if you really want quick growth, if you're in an area of your life or your business and you are just thinking like, I really need to get this to work now. I've been working on this for 6 months or a year or whatever this is. Like I said, whether it's in your personal life, your relationships, in your business. But if you get to a point where it's like, I really need this to work, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, or I just need that momentum. That immersion really is key. The immersion is the way that you can compound and get a deeper understanding and really, really dig in and figure out a way to take action right away. It really catalyzes that growth. And the last thing is that environment, that immersive environment, it helps you focus and concentrate. And if you do it right, it really reduces or hopefully eliminates, but let's be honest, none of us can completely eliminate distractions, right? But it really reduces the distractions, excuse me, so that you can really focus in on what you're learning and what you're trying to accomplish. So immersion is huge. It's been one of the biggest things in my life for the last, oh, probably 15 years. But especially in the last, 2 or 3 years, immersion is so important because, again, we're living in a really, really fast-paced world. We're living in a world where things move quicker than, I mean, the news cycle. I'm not really a big on news, to be totally honest. I think just brings you down. But just for example, the news cycle used to be, I don't know, a couple days or a couple weeks. Now it's hours or even minutes. That cycle is so quick. So if you want to be able to keep up on whatever it is you want to learn, whether it's personal growth, whether it's business trends, whether it's a new skill that you want to learn, really digging in and getting that skill and getting that immersion is going to be one of the biggest advantages, because most people don't take time to actually block off that time and really commit. And if you really commit to that immersion and you really decide, okay, I'm going to block this time off, I'm not going to have the distractions, I'm going to have the focus. Yes, I know I'm going to get phone calls. Yes, I know I'm going to get emails. But I'm going to reply to those later at night, or I'm going to not reply to them for a couple of days. You have the ability to block off that time. I know in America we have this belief, this kind of ingrained in our culture that we always have to be available for everyone. But I know you probably heard me say it before, if you can never learn to say no, then you're never going to have what you want in life. I have a mentor that says that yes, we'll get you out of Egypt, but no, we'll take you to the promised land. So you have to be able to learn how to say no. You have to be able to learn how to block that time off. And this weekend was it was really amazing. It was incredible to be able to block that off. Yes, we had people, not trying to knock down our door, getting, wanting our attention and wanting things. But in the end, it was the best decision because my wife and I were really able to focus in, and our growth was explosive. Our growth was incredible. We have so many amazing things planned that just came from taking some time for ourselves to invest in ourselves, and taking that time to really create a vision and to immerse in something that we believe was really important. And it's going to be important. Different things are going to be different or important for different people, excuse me. But the other thing is, it's most of the time these events, the really good ones, the ones that you're really going to get the value from, yeah, you're going to have an investment. You're going to have a financial investment. You have to have a time investment. But how much are you willing to invest in you? Because in the long run, what you put into it, you get out of it, right? Whatever you put into your business, you get out of it. Whatever you put into your life, you're going to get out of it. There's this metaphor that I heard from one of the guys on the seminar. He was talking about health, and he said that he was talking about, revitalizing your health and eating different foods, and not eating all the junk that I think we're all pretty aware is out there now. There's definitely a health movement. But anyway, he said something that really stuck to me. He said, nothing tastes as good as this feels. It was really incredible because the guy, his name is Joseph McClendon the third, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but he's a great guy. You can look him up. He's a coach and a strategist. Great guy, and it was incredible because he looked like he was maybe mid 40s to early 50s, like max, and he said that he was 71. It was incredible. It was like, how are you 71? He looked amazing. And he looks amazing. But his point was, nothing tastes as good as this feels. And to me, it was a wake-up call for health, but also for so many other areas in life. We could totally apply that to every area in life, right? So are we looking at the immediate gain? Do you want that donut because it's going to make you feel good now because it tastes good? Is it something that's going to serve you in the future? So I just thought that was so powerful, and you can apply that to anything in life. Nothing tastes as good as this feels. So we have to think about what we're investing in ourselves. We have to think about where we're trying to go, and how our actions are going to affect us in the future. And taking time for yourself and taking time to invest in yourself is so important. And immersion especially. So many people, when they think about investing in themselves, they feel guilty. They think it's selfish to invest in themselves, but it actually couldn't be any further from the truth. Because when you choose not to, when you choose to neglect your own skills and your own personal development, your own personal growth, your spiritual growth, your business skills, when you choose to neglect those, when you choose not to invest in yourself, then you're not only hurting yourself, but you're hurting the people around you. I learned that in a really hard way, a while back, that when I chose not to invest in myself, when I chose not to improve myself, it was making life so much harder for my family. So I would really encourage you to invest in yourself and to find immersive events. And in the world we live in, it makes it so much easier today than it's always been, because you can still have an immersive experience, but it can be virtual. Just make sure that you're still blocking off that time and those resources, because it's so important to be able to focus. We have our phone in front of us all the time, right? There's so much time when we're just scrolling, and it's almost ruined our focus, our ability to focus. And the immersion helps you regain that focus, helps you regain that skill of being able to actually focus in on what's important. And we don't need all the distractions. The distractions are the things that slow us down. I knew another coach that said that he asked me, what is the number one thing, the number one, I think he said the number one enemy to success. I didn't know, this was years ago. And he said distractions. The number one enemy to success is distractions, because we get so distracted and we think, oh, look over there. Oh, and look over there. And before you know it, half of our life is gone because we've just wasted it on distractions. And I know I'm kind of on a rant, but it was so powerful. It was so incredible to be able to see how just in 4 days, I went from here to here in 4 days. And I'm not bragging. I'm just saying that's the power of immersion. That's the power of focusing in on what matters. That's the power of really immersing yourself in an environment and opening up to the possibility of learning new things. So powerful. So anyway, to recap, when you immerse yourself in an environment, when you really immerse yourself in learning, and this can be a lot of different situations. Again, there's so many options out there right now in the world we live in. But it helps you learn quicker, it helps you learn deeper. It creates that intense drive to take action. I mean, I'm on fire right now. I live my life, I think, at a pretty high level. Um, but I'm way higher now. Like, and that's a way to help you revitalize yourself. We need that. We need that renewal. Sometimes we need to revitalize ourselves. It increases focus. It produces massive growth. I feel like I've grown so much in just 4 days, and I feel full and I feel amazing. And it reduces and it reduces or eliminates those distractions, and it helps you learn how to focus in. So I would really encourage you to attend a really meaningful event, a workshop, a seminar, a conference. At least do one, at least one this year, something this year, something for you or something for your business, but something that feeds you, that's not just sitting there, absorbing information, something that's interactive, and something that will get you that immersive experience to be able to take your life or your relationship or your business to the next level. Because that's the way you get to that next level, is you push yourself. You can do it daily immersion too. I call a lot of people call it time blocking. I'm not going to get into that a lot today because I could go for hours on that, but it's just the concept of learning how to block off time, learning how to say no to honestly 90% of things, because there's so many things trying to eat up our time. There's so many things trying to eat up our focus and our attention. And more often than not, 20% of the things that we do get us 80% of the results, right? So if there's anyone here that would like to share an experience with an immersive event or something that really transformed them, I'm going to stay on for a minute or two to see if anyone wants to share that. And while I'm waiting for that, I'm actually working on an immersive event right now. I don't know when it's going to come out. I'm going to be able to put it together. I'm working on it right now. I'll be announcing that soon. I'll probably be announcing that on my social media, on Facebook, Instagram, here on YouTube. But I'm working on putting something together, especially geared toward realtors, because that's really is where my heart is. But there's going to be a lot of things. If you're not a realtor, if you're someone that's just kind of in the real estate world, or if you're someone that just really wants to take your life or your business or your career to the next level, that's what I'm working on right now. So I'm working on an immersive event because I realized how powerful this was, and I've done this for years, and I've always known the power, but I know that it's time for me to step up and to build something for you guys. And so stay tuned on that. I don't see any comments about anyone wanting to share, but that's great. If you're watching this later, I would love to hear your comments I would love to hear from you in the comments below, about things that you've done that have, immersive events or immersive experiences that you've had that have really changed your life, have really moved that needle in your life. Or maybe an event that's coming up that you're really excited about. I would really like to hear about that too. So I just wanted to pique your curiosity on the event that that's coming up with me. So stay tuned. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I would love for you to like, share, and subscribe. Go plan some kind of immersive event this year for you. Keep growing and empowering those around you one mind at a time. Until next time.